Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Good evening, everybody.
Recording in progress.
ready when you are.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Yarmouth Zoning Board of Appeals. Today's date is June 12th, 2025. My name is Sean Igo. I'm the chairman of the board. I'm now going to take a roll call vote as some of us are appearing by Zoom. Mr. Neitz,
Yes,
present?
present.
Mr. Frapery,
Present.
Mr. Mantoni,
Present.
Ms. Murphy,
Present.
and I'm present as well. So we have a quorum of 5. We have 2 matters on our agenda tonight. The first matter is petition 5178, George L. Poulakos and Ekaterina Poulakos. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. The property location is 38 Indian Memorial Drive, South Yarmouth. It's in an R40 zoning district as well as the APD and Zone 2. The applicant seeks a special permit per 104.3.2 subsection 2 and/or a variance from section 203.5 to increase the ridge height of a pre-existing non-conforming structure. Good evening.
Good evening.
Could you identify yourselves, please?
Sure. So I'm actually standing in because my mom unfortunately has COVID, so she's locked up. So I'm standing in her place. My name is Yanni. I'm the petitioner's son.
And I'm George Poulakos.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you want to do here?
I would allow my son to explain because
I'll be the
Okay.
spokesperson, sure. So my folks are actually looking to transition from what is a secondary property to be their primary home at this point in time. My dad, though others would like to be in full retirement at his age, is actually continuing his business, and so part of that requires having a home office. And so their desire is to add a little bit to the home, which would require displacing one of the bedrooms on the ground floor. I'm also privileged to be in my 40s and have a grandmother who's still with us. And so they would be bringing down my grandmother, who's a nonagenarian, with them to be on the ground floor. So this sort of necessitates building upward. As I've understood it, I haven't been as close to the matter, but as I've understood it, there are parts of the property that are considered to be non-conforming, which are nearer to other folks' property lines. Those are not meant to be touched in the sort of going up. I think the images as are shown, at least I'm looking at this sort of like front cover page here. It's this bit right there that stays sort of untouched. That is within kind of that non-conforming distance, and it's rather the parts of the structure that are furthest away that would be added to grow in height. I think that on the first sheet of 4, the ridge height as is measured from the elevation level to the top of the ridge, the difference between those two figures is 24.59 feet. So that would be the ridge height of the structure. And that's what I know, and I guess we're here to discuss further.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
I think we're going to go to the board for some questions. Barbara, do you have any questions for the petitioner?
Not at this point, no.
Okay. John, do you have any questions?
No, so you cleared that up. So the ridge height will be 24.59. Okay. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jay?
Just one question about the ridge height. I see that Mark Grillis did put it down as 24.59, but on the site plan, there's a note that says proposed second floor expansion, proposed ridge elevation 47.6 plus or minus.
Yeah, so I think that, and again, this is not something that I'm as close to, but I think that for some reason the person who's done these designs is measuring that as from elevation from sea level for whatever reason. So the bottom has elevation 23.94 as the starting point, and that's from sea level. The base of the structure, and so then when you go to the top of the structure, you're at 48.53 from sea level,
Yep.
and then the difference between the two is the 24.59.
Okay.
I don't know if this is industry standard or not, so I found it confusing as well, but that's the difference.
Not sure why they did it that way, but.
Yeah.
That's fine, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I noticed that 48.53 elevation on the top plan. And I think normally, and Mr. Chairman, correct me if I'm wrong, but normally, don't we get an engineer's stamp as to the actual elevation before we grant relief? And I didn't see that, except the only reference to any number at all that I saw was the 48.53.
If you look at the foundation plan, they've got an elevation, I believe it's at 24, if you look at that first floor elevation.
Well, why are they here then?
I'm sorry?
Why are they here?
They're here to just alter and extend their
But
ridge
they're
height
within the
at
30
second
foot,
floor.
they're within the 30-foot height?
Yeah, they still need special permit because they're too close to the lot line.
Okay, so they're not looking for relief for the height of the building?
No, no. And they're well within it. Petitioner is correct. If you took a measurement from the street, that ridge height's probably gonna be around 28 from the street, 28 high.
Okay, I was hoping for more precise engineers to say that, but
But he did do it a little differently than we're normally used to looking at, whereas we look at, we look at an elevation more like with the building, and he did it from, we don't even have a street elevation here, I'm not seeing, but
Yeah.
he's got that first floor elevation at 24, so if you go to 48, he's gonna be 24 feet above that first floor height.
Yeah.
And I would say probably that lot, the elevation is probably somewhere around 2021.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, they even show the existing garage slab, it says 24.1, so
Okay, the existing, okay, well,
that's
that's, okay.
probably,
That's probably near what the ground is right there, because those are pretty much right on the ground.
yeah.
okay, well, that makes me feel a little bit better. And I guess I misunderstood the intent of the application, because it was a permit to increase height of a non-conforming structure, which it is, but I thought they were looking for relief for the height. And then I saw 48 feet, and I said, that's a lot of relief, so.
Yeah, more than we're used to
More than what
seeing.
we usually do.
What is the height limit?
It's a 30-foot height.
35.
35 for residential.
Yes. Anything else for questions?
That's all I have.
Okay. I didn't have any questions myself. I looked at it. I see why you're doing what you're doing. You got a pretty good sized lot right there. It is kind of pushed back in that corner. If this were raised and replaced for the whole building, I think we would probably ask that you centered it more in the lot, but that would certainly be cost prohibitive to you to have to do that, so we certainly wouldn't require that. But none of the building itself is where it is. They're just adding a second floor to the main part of the house and just remodeling their first floor area. That's what I see here. So
Okay.
that's the gist of it.
So it's not a raise and replace, it's an
No.
addition with a second story.
The addition, I mean, the addition is the original structure.
Yep.
We're not going into what was added in 1985.
Is there a full foundation under the
Yes.
house?
Yes.
Okay. So they've determined that can support the additional second story?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
I have one
Oh.
question. The lot size before was less than what it is now. I mean, I don't know why that was the case. And before, when I had come here, they said it was 19,700 something. And now, according to TS Land Survey, is 20,469.
Well, that's a good thing. They found
That's a
some
good thing.
extra
You've been getting
land
away.
for
You're
you.
going to increase your assessment now.
Officially stated that
I'll,
on the
I'll
record.
have to tell the assessor's office that you have a bigger lot.
My question was, when I originally had come here and I had requested to do 4 bedrooms, says your lot is less than 20,000 square feet. If it's more than 20, you can have 4 bedrooms. But I don't know what really is is the rule.
Well, you haven't asked for relief for that.
I'm just saying, what is the actual, you know?
Yeah, the Health Department would need to hear that question, but also, we can't stamp a plan, and the land surveying company did. So, I mean, they're the ones that are testifying that it's
Yeah, that-
different from
yeah.
what was before, so we
Okay.
can't
If
dispute
you have a
that.
question about that, just take that up with the Board of Health.
Okay.
I didn't see any correspondence in the file. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this petition? Please come to the microphone.
There's no one here.
Okay, so do we have anybody on Zoom that wishes to, anybody raising their hand, Dolores?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and how about in opposition? Is anyone raising their hand for that?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Gentlemen, is there anything else that you'd like to add at this time?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Glad to speak.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, so we're going to close the hearing to the public and open it up for board discussion. Anyone wish to begin a discussion or to make a motion?
I'd be happy to make a motion to approve the request for a special permit
Okay.
Second.
With no conditions?
with no conditions.
All right. Do we have a second to that motion?
I did.
Dick
Dick,
did.
okay, you seconded. Do we have any discussion on that? Okay. The only thing I would just add is I do think it's a reasonable request for relief. I think the house has been there for a long time. I don't think it's going to cause any undue hazard, nuisance, or congestion, nor will it be any substantially more non-conforming, the new addition to what is previously there. So I think it'll fit right in, and I think it's very tastefully done, and it's a nice addition there to Indian Memorial Drive. Okay, we're going to take a roll call vote. Barbara? Yay and A. A and A.
I agree.
A? Okay. John?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That carries unanimously. Okay, folks, so what happens now is a decision is drafted and it's filed with the town clerk. After that happens, 20 days must elapse. That's an appeal period. Once that has gone by, then Dolores will contact you. You can come by and you can pick up your special permit and take it over to the Registry of Deeds and record it and bring a copy back for our records.
Sean, we
Do
just
you have
have
any
to,
questions?
Sean, we just have to ask them to withdraw the variance.
Yep, I was just gonna ask them that as well. You've requested also variance relief, and you don't need it. So what we would ask is that you withdraw your request for the variance without prejudice.
Okay.
You willing to do that?
I don't even know what that is, but I'm sure we are.
He needs
Okay.
to say that. He needs to say that.
Do we have a motion to allow the petitioner to withdraw his request for variance without prejudice?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
We're gonna take a roll call vote. Dick?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That passes unanimously. Okay, gentlemen, we're all set for tonight, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good luck with your project.
Thank you. So we have to.
All right, and I believe we have Attorney Tardif on Zoom, if we could bring him in. Good evening, Attorney Tardif.
Good evening.
We have other business on our agenda tonight regarding decisions 4577 and 5129 regarding property located at 41 Standish Way. Could you identify yourself for the record, please, sir?
Sure. My name is Paul Tardif. I'm an attorney in Yarmouthport, and I do represent the owners of that property, who are is Martin Dugal, Gerald Dugal, and Margaret Dugal. So this is a little different. First of all, different by being on Zoom, used to being down there. Second of all, it's what I'm really asking for is some clarity for purposes of title, which is a little different than you're used to giving, but let me explain what happened here. In 2015, the Dugals came to your board and requested a special permit for an affordable accessory apartment on site. It's above a garage, and it met all the requirements. The special permit was granted, and that was at number 4577. In 2024, after there was a change in our zoning bylaw, Mr. Dugal, Martin Dugal, came back before you asking for a special permit to convert the affordable accessory apartment to just a owner occupied rental accessory apartment. So there was still a owner occupancy requirement for the main house, but there would be no affordability and no affordable covenant that would restrict the rental on that property. This board granted that as well. Before that decision could be recorded, and we still have the original, but before it can be recorded, Governor Healy introduced the Affordable Homes Act, which, as you know, has made accessory dwelling units allowed by right throughout the Commonwealth, subject to certain restrictions, and there's some regulations you can, meaning the town can put on there. However, they cannot put on an owner occupancy requirement on there, nor could they restrict affordability as well. So the Dugals would like to basically abandon the two decisions that they have, and then just apply through the building department, through their channels, for permission to use their existing accessory dwelling for an ADU unit. And so in order to do that, and now having at least one of those decisions recorded at the Registry of Deeds on their title, and for the next owner, we want to make sure that that is not going to be prohibitive, and it's not going to scare a buyer away. It's basically, we want to have something that is on record that says, don't worry, that's no longer in effect. This is a legal ADU unit instead. I talked to Mr. Grills about how we were going to go about doing this. I did write a letter to the board dated June 3rd, which I know you have. I also included Mary Wagon on that because of the affordability, but I think she was aware of the conversion back last year in 2024. But I just wanted everyone to be on record of it, and I said, what could we do to put something on record that would notify everyone in the world about this? And I know that sometimes when we do extensions, you have an extension form that you use. Sometimes we do an amendment. We can do that as well. So what I'm proposing is, and asking this board to do, is to maybe issue a memorandum that just basically says, we've discussed this, that the board is in agreement that those two decisions will be abandoned, and that the Dugals are free to exercise their rights under the Affordable Homes Act and seek an ADU at their property, and leave it at that. So that is what I came to you tonight to ask you.
Okay. Has everybody received a copy of Attorney Tardif's proposed memorandum to file?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I've read through it. I think he's right on point. Does anybody have any questions for Attorney Tardif?
I haven't had a chance to read the state law, so I can't say that I know it well or know it, but I do know it was in place or is in place now versus which kind of overrides what we had in the bylaw. So I understand his point.
I think, as I understand it, it just prohibits the town from requiring residency in one unit or the other by the owner.
Right.
And in my opinion, it probably wouldn't be fair if we stuck this owner with that predicament where, just because of the timing, a matter of really weeks or months.
Yeah, I agree.
It wouldn't be fair that he had to be upheld by the residency requirement when everyone from now on isn't, by virtue of the state law, so.
I would agree with Dick. I just, like I said, I don't know the process for removing what we already have in place. And Sean, hopefully you can give us a sense of that.
Well, essentially, the state law says that these people can do what they want to do, and they can't be restricted by affordability or owner-occupied requirements. And those are the two things that we actually have in our two decisions. So the state law is overriding that. What really Attorney Tardif wants to do here is kind of some housekeeping and clean the title up. So if somebody buys the property and they see these affordable requirements recorded and then an owner-occupied requirement recorded, they start to ask a question, what is this? But then they see this other one come in behind it, which is this memorandum that basically spells out the history of what went on. In 2015, we approved the affordability. In 2024, or somewhere there, I forget what the date was on that,
15.
we approved
October 8th.
the owner-occupied ADU, and now, since the law has passed, what Attorney Tardif is asking us to do is declare those two decisions void, and that the owner may now rent his place out pursuant to whatever the law is.
so
And
is
that's
it-
all
is
really
that
what we're saying. It just cleans the title up, so
Understood, but is that
No
a,
question.
is that a memorandum that just gets given to the, have to get posted against the,
Recorded.
recorded against the?
it gets
the property?
recorded. What would happen here is we've got a proposed memorandum here. If we vote in favor of it, I would sign it, then it would be recorded, just like a special permit or a variance is recorded, and then that would be the end of it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, and maybe I'll ask you and Paul for your opinions, would that allow them to increase the size to the 900 square feet or 1/2 of the square footage of the house?
My understanding is that's exactly what the law allows. So, however, I don't even really have an idea of what the square footage is currently, but I think that
I think it was
the unit is-
restricted initially to 525 square feet.
Yeah, I think it's restricted by the building itself.
Yep,
However, under the-
575 square feet.
Yeah, I think that the new law would allow them to go, as you indicated, up to 900 or half of the primary residence. So, but I think in this case it would require expanding the garage out, which I don't think that they'll be able to do. They're a little close to the water down there.
A little close to the lot lines too, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a little tight. So I don't think that's going to happen. But you know, they could.
So, having said that, is anybody prepared to make a motion to approve the memorandum presented by Attorney Tardif relative to petition 4577 and 5129 to declare that decisions 4577 and 5129 are now void, without any further obligation on the part of the applicant to abide by those decisions?
I would move that, Mr. Chairman, subject to the revision of those in attendance and voting tonight. Because Mr. Martin is included in the memorandum.
Good point.
Well, we can, okay, well, that will be changed, okay? We're gonna change his name out, so this is just the memorandum here. I haven't signed it yet. So his name won't appear. I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Your name will now appear, Mr. Neves.
Thank you.
So we have a motion by Mr.
second.
Neves, subject to, okay, seconded by Mr. Frapery. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we're gonna do a roll call. Barbara?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
And I'm an aye too. That passes unanimously. I don't think we need a 20-day appeal period for this because this is by operation of law, correct, Attorney Charter?
That's correct. And
Okay.
I will clean that up. I just inserted Mr. Martin because I think he's a full-time member. I wasn't expecting Mr. Neets to be there, but I'm glad he is.
We're keeping you on your toes, Mr. Carter.
I will clean
Well,
that.
it's worth having to change the name, having Mr. Neets present tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Always welcome his presence.
Absolutely. All right, thank you very
Okay,
much.
so Paul, Attorney Charter, if you can just send that over to us with that change in it, I will sign it and send it, we'll get it to you suitable for recording.
That's great. Thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice night.
You too.
Okay. Do we have any other business, Dolores?
No, Mr. Chairman, we do not.
Okay, if we could have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Barbara? We gotta do roll call.
A record time.
Aye.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
Aye.
Dick is an aye, and I'm an aye. Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice night.